Welcome to the Frequency Labyrinth. I am Adrienne McDonald, your host. This podcast is for you if you're done with surface level self-help and ready for something deeper and actually transformative. Around here, we work with ancient wisdom, human design, gene keys, and shamanic practices, not as knowledge to collect, but as tools to live by. This isn't about one size fits all. It's about learning to work with your energy, your design, and your life. This is about integration and embodiment. We go deep here with ancient wisdom, practical integration, so that you can develop ironclad self-trust. Let's get into it. Hello, beautiful humans, and welcome back, or welcome if it's your first time. Today, we are going to dive into the Human Design Incarnation Cross. I've gotten a couple of questions about it over the past several months, and let's dive into it a little bit, because it's one of the things that people zero in on as, oh, well, this is going to tell me my life's purpose. And if you've ever looked at your incarnation cross as your life's purpose and then read the description and thought, well, what am I supposed to do with this? I don't even know what this means. You're not alone. And when I first looked at mine, which I have the right angle cross of service 1, I thought, okay, I guess I'm here to serve something to someone somehow. What does this mean? And without context, it looks pretty vague. It felt a little bit like a fortune cookie that I'm not sure I wanted. Your incarnation cross is not your, cosmic job title. It's not a career plan. It's not it's not something written in stone that you're supposed to magically fulfill. It's think of it more of as a reoccurring theme, the flavor of your life built from the 4 gates in your chart, or 4 specific gates in your chart. And just like any theme, it can play out in 100 different ways depending on your choices, your awareness, the season of life you're in, and the nuances, and more importantly, the nuances that are in the rest of your chart. So today I'm going to try to strip away some of the fluff and help you understand how the incarnation cross functions, what it is, what it isn't, and how to actually work with it without getting lost in the fog. Now, when Ra, the founder of Human Design, talked about the Incarnation Cross, he talked about it as like the life force direction of the being, the background frequency of your entire design that's being broadcasted in the world. But he was very, very clear that it wasn't a job description. It wasn't a go be this or you're failing. That's not how this works. The key points that he made was, this is the totality that you bring into the world. Your cross is the access point of your conscious and your unconscious sun and earth. And he often called it like your trajectory, the movement of your life force through the expression of who we are if we are in alignment with the rest of our design. This is not about doing, it's about being. He emphasized that you just don't go out and live your cross in a goal-oriented way. If you follow your strategy and your authority, that it would just be naturally expressed without even thinking about it. And it is very archetypal. There are 192 incarnation crosses that are just broad archetypes. Thousands of people have the same one, but each expresses it differently depending on their type, their profile, their definition, their life experiences, their planetary placements. And the quarter also matters. Ra tied the cross to the 4 quarters of the wheel: initiation, civilization, duality, and mutation, to give the life force a context, i.e. a right angle of the cross and a quarter of civilization is going to be about bringing something into form for the collective, for instance. it's your role in the program. And the big picture, the Incarnation Cross shows you the role that your specific design plays in your ongoing evolution, if you will. And a direct quote from him is, "The cross is the whole package. It's what you're here to live out simply by being yourself. You don't have to chase it. If you live correctly according to your design, your cross will be fulfilled without you ever trying." But the human brain it wants to chase that purpose, right? It wants the knowing of whatever the purpose is, right? But let's start breaking this down by mechanics. Your incarnation cross is built from 4 gates. It's your personality, sun, and earth. That's the conscious stuff, the part of you that you can usually see and name, and your design, earth, and sun. This is the unconscious stuff, the currents that are running against the surface that still shape your life even though you're not aware of them. And these 4 gates form 2 polarities. They create sort of a push-pull dynamic. And they give the tension gives your life its flavor, if you think about it that way. And then your cross sits on one of the 4 quarters of the human design wheel: initiation, civilization, duality, or mutation, which adds another layer of context. Now, Ra explained that the 4 quarters is the larger thematic backdrops for all the gates, all the channels, all the crosses. Each quarter is like a season of the mandala, the section of the wheel that shapes how a person fulfills their purpose. They don't really change what you're here for. That's expressed in your specific incarnation cross, but they sort of set the stage of how you want to deliver it for the world, or to the world. And the quarter of initiation, that's about purpose fulfilled through the mind. Here, the emphasis is on, it's on awakening and mental transmission and planning ideas and sharing insights and trying to be the catalyst for creating awareness in others, right? People in this quarter initiate through, they share perspective, but not necessarily through action. Could be, but not necessarily. Then we move to the quarter of civilization, and that purpose is fulfilled through form. This quarter is concerned about building, maintaining, refining the structures that hold a society together. It's the place of materialization. It's taking ideas and making them tangible for the collective good. Then the quarter of duality is about purpose fulfilled through relationships. It's a quarter of interaction, connection, partnership. And here the focus is on learning through others, balancing the self and the other, and creating mutual growth. And then the last quarter, the quarter of mutation, is about purpose filled through transformation. This is a domain of change and adaptation and evolution. It brings new frequencies into the collective, shifts the trajectory of humanity through innovation and mutation. And Ra often said that while your gates and your cross are your personal theme, your quarter sort of colors the delivery of, it's the vehicle you bring to your purpose into the world. So I think this helps by giving it context. So for me, with the right angle cross of service and the quarter of initiation, the theme is about bringing ideas into form in ways that serve the collective. So my personality sun is gate 17, and it's a line 3, the gate of opinions. But this is not like I'm just banging out behind a keyboard. It's about pattern recognition, about seeing possibilities for an improvement. And then because I'm a line 3, I'm always road testing them through trial and error before offering them to others. And your sun is think of it as your loudest note. And then the other gates in my cross add depths. Some I'm conscious with, and some I'm not. And but the incarnation cross is also, when you look backwards, hindsight, you can usually see it a lot more clear, because you can look back at decisions or life chapters and think, okay, all right, I see that now. Depending on your level of conditioning. So I think that that's one of the reasons why people feel that they read their cross description and they're like, and so what? These descriptions are written for everyone with that cross, and they are, because that can be thousands of people. So of course they are broad. They have to be. So without layering in like your profile and your authority and your definition and your actual lived experience, reading the cross by itself is, I don't know, like reading a tagline of a book and think that you've got the entire plot line all figured out. It's impossible. So two people can have the same incarnation cross and live out. It comes out in completely different ways. And when we factoring in another layer, taking astrology into the mix as well, like your astrology sun sign and your personality sun gate in the incarnation cross both describe the conscious way you radiate yourself out into the world. But they're speaking in slightly different symbolic languages. Like you could frame it in your astrology sun sign describes your core identity and your vitality, what lights you up, your style of self-expression, how you grow into your fullest self. It's broad. It tells you the archetype that you're living, but not necessarily the script of how it plays out day to day. I'm an Aries sun, so that's typically like direct, pioneering, driven to initiate. Your personality sun in human design zooms in on specific energetic frequency that you radiate, the note that you play in the collective. It's precise. It's that one gate out of 64 and that one line, 1 through 6, that adds nuance to your personal flavor of that archetype. So for me, like I said, gate 17.3, that Aries pioneer energy is expressed in seeing patterns, forming opinions, testing them through trial and error before sharing. And when you think about how they work together in our incarnation cross, your personality sun is like your most conscious anchor point in your cross. It's your loudest note. It shapes half of the primary polarity. The other half is your personality earth. And your astrology sun sort of colors the style of how that gate energy expresses. The same gate in a Leo versus a Capricorn sun would feel very different in tone. In your incarnation cross, your personality sun is both the way you consciously shine and the exact theme that you're broadcasting. So let me give you a better example. I think I've got a friend of mine who has the same incarnation crosses I do, but he's in a different quarter. So you've got me, right angle cross of service, number 1, 3-5 generator. And my friend has right angle cross of service 2, and he is a 1-3 manifester. We've got the same 4 gates, 17, 18, 58, 52, but the order of those gates flips, and that changes everything. So for me, it starts with pattern recognition. I lead with gate 17, which means I'm scanning for the big picture. I'm spotting possibilities, and that I'm offering up things for improvement. And as a generator, I look at things, I'm looking to respond to something before I move on it, which means I build and I refine over time. And my 3-5 profile means that I road test my insights through trial and error, which is my line 3, and share what's proven to work, which is line 5. People come to me for tested solutions that actually hold up in real life. That's where the practical integration part of me comes from. Now, my friend, same incarnation cross, but he's a 2, and his starts with correction. He leads with gate 18. So the first thing he notices is what's off. And as a manifester, he doesn't wait to be invited into the fix. He can just initiate, drop the correction like a lightning bolt. His 1-3 profile means he dives deep into the research first, then learns through lived trial and error what improvements actually stick. And when he delivers a correction, it's grounded both in investigation and lived proof. Same cross, same core theme, both making things better for the collective, but the sequence and the tone and the timing, all of that is very different. And he's, I believe, a Cancer sun. So again, that delivery is very different. So the lesson is your incarnation cross isn't a script that you're here to follow word for word. It's sort of a theme song that you're playing in your own style, and your type and profile sort of decide the rhythm and the tempo, and whether you're improvising or you're following sheet music, or like, what are you doing there? And I think the real gold in looking at all of it is, if you start with your personality sun, again, that's the loudest notes. And then you can add in the other 3 gates, and then check how your profile shapes how you live it. And then notice, where's this theme been playing out in your life without you even trying? Because when you look backwards, chances are you're going to see that theme. And you can't, well, like I said, you can't make your incarnation cross happen. As I said, Ra was pretty clear about that. If you live your strategy and authority, your cross is just going to express itself automatically. That said, you can become more aware of it, so you recognize when it's showing up and shining, and you can lean into it without, obsessing over, oh, this must be my purpose. I think people really when people start getting hung up on that, especially when they first get into human design, I think that could be problematic, because I think it becomes very limiting. So I'd say that how to notice it in your own life is get curious about your personality sun. That's where you want to go into depth. This is the most conscious part of your cross. You can look at the other 3 gates and notice where they are the supporting cast. See how your profile shapes the expression of the cross, because your profile changes how the cross plays out in real life. And then step 4, look backward for proof, because your cross reveals itself most clearly in hindsight. For me, it's leaving corporate, it's building my coaching practice, weaving in together human design and gene keys and Celtic shamanism, and all the ways, the theme of recognizing patterns, refining them, and offering them in service to others. But I could say that when I looked at this in depth, how I did things, even when I was in corporate, very, very similar. The pattern recognition and the refining. I was always like on the process improvement stuff and stuff like that in corporate. So a couple of reflection prompts. Ask yourself, where's my cross already shown up in ways that I didn't really notice at the time? What part of my cross feels really naturally easy to express right now? If you look at the gate that your personality sun is in and you do not resonate with it, I would go look at the deconditioning guide and go through those exercises in there, because I feel like if it's really not resonating, then there's a lot of conditioning going on, or possibly you run your chart again to make sure you got the right birth time. And third question is, how do my unconscious gates quietly influence what I do? I find the unconscious gates always have a little hidden gold in them that people don't expect. That's incredibly useful once they bring it to their awareness. So here's what I want you to take away from this conversation. First, again, your incarnation cross is the backdrop music. It's not the script. It's think of it as like the score that's been playing since the day you were born. It shapes the mood, the tempo, the reoccurring themes. But you're not improvising, right? There's some method to the madness. Your strategy and authority decide the moves. The cross just sets the tone. Second, don't skip over the quarter. The quarter is your delivery system. It's the lens to express your cross. Same cross, different quarter, whole different vibe. Like I said, mine's in quarter of initiation, which means my service happens through mental awakening. Somebody with the same cross in the quarter of duality lives it entirely through relationships. And then third, it's clearest in hindsight. You don't go live with your cross like it's a checklist. It's not, you're going to run out and do the thing. That's not how this works. You're going to notice it unfolding over time. You're going to see it in repeating themes and turning points when you look back. And it's sort of like your proof that it's been running the whole time. So stop trying to force it. Follow your strategy and authority, and your cross will play out. It's like the soundtrack that's always been. If you really want to hear it, look over your shoulder a little bit, look back in the rearview mirror, and that's where you're probably going to notice it the most. I mean, that's one of the reasons why I've not spent an extraordinary amount of time on the Incarnation Cross in past episodes, although I've gotten a lot of questions about it. It's because, to me, it's not the thing to start with. It's, even though when people see it, they're like, "Oh, this is my purpose." I think that I go back to start with, how does your energy work, right? How do you best make decisions, right? That will lead you down a more transformative path quicker than obsessing over the cross. However, over time, it does become interesting to look at. There are high expressions of the crosses, there are low expressions of the crosses, just like everything else in human design. And maybe I will do another episode about that sometime in the future. But that is it for today. If you would like to go deeper, you can order your Human Design Energetic Blueprint. The link is in the show notes, or schedule a reading. And I look forward to connecting with you next week. In the interim, remember to find beauty every day and seek the magic in the mundane. Thanks for tuning in today. As always, take what resonates, leave the rest. Let whatever landed move through you in whatever way it needs to or wants to. And also, if you want to explore more, you'll find more information in the show notes. If this episode stirred something in you, please share it out or leave a quick review. It helps so much, and I really appreciate it. And remember, this work is about integration, and it always starts with self-trust.